Okay, this is my 2015 PCT Gear, what I got in my pack. Right now it's June 2013, or 2014, my bad. So things may change a little bit between now and then, but for right now, this is how I have it set up. My camera, it's a Sony RX100 Mod 2. Nalgene fancy cap water bottle. Also have an Nalgene canteen. This is a little heavy, but it's bomb proof and I like it, so I might take it. I've had it for a long time. The front of this pack has two blister pouches, similar to this guy, which is my old trusty pack, which I've had for 10 years or so, and it's starting to fall apart. Seams are ripping and everything's sun faded and got some miles on it. Anyway, has the same blister pouches on the front that this does, and I really liked how I had these organized. The advantage of this one is it has the center section where I can put my snowshoes or whatever in there, but it doesn't have any side pockets like this guy does. So I know it's quite a bit bigger. I took the top lid pocket off to save some weight and just cinch it up and use a bungee cord to hold it down, but it's a little heavy, so I figured I'd start off with a new light teeny tiny pack. Alrighty. Oh, so for the outside of this pack, it's got the two pockets. I got my Luna sandals. It's great for when your feet are tore up, you got lots of blisters, and you just need to let your feet air out and your shoes are killing you. These are great. Also great for water crossings or river crossings, or if you just feel like letting your feet air out if you've been in rain for a couple days. Quite handy. The two pouches on the outside, I separate them into kind of a house section and a pantry section. So what I do is I take, so if I get to camp and it's bad weather, I can pop this guy open. I have a Grand Trunk Nano hammock with lines and all that in there. A Hammock Gear Cuban fiber tarp. It's got lines and stakes and ridge line and all that in there already. So I can throw up the tarp and then do everything else underneath the tarp. Python straps, which are great for the bigger trees in California. And this is extra line for bear bagging or whatever. Fixing stuff, tying up stuff, lashing stuff. If I need to dig water out of a deep area, or even in an emergency if I need a line to go across a river, but that hasn't happened yet. That's it on this side. And on this side I got Astroglide, or not Astroglide, Body Glide, Sawyer Squeeze filter, my navigation and lighting, which is pretty much everything I take all the time. Got a little teeny tiny tripod for my camera, my compass and a whistle, this little dude, which is a lantern slash flashlight, which is handy because I like to hang it inside. If I'm just tarping, hang it in the tarp and then it's a nice even glow all around, and I can read my book or write in my journal or whatever. Couple things to note: this is AAA. It's my headlight, which is AAA also, and my GPS, which is a newer version of one I use quite a bit. It's a little bit smaller. It's great for just getting your grid, and if you're super lost, or if you take a side trail or just cross country, you can always mark a waypoint when you left the trail, go do your side trip, hit the lake or mountain or whatever, and then you can route find or find your way back to the trail. That's pretty handy for side trips. Never just knowing where you are on the map, although the PCT is not. It's quite well marked, so won't really have too much. And a little backup, little squeezy light. For kitchen, I use the big fuel canister. It's a 10 ounce, I think, 8 ounce. But one of these is lighter than two of the smaller ones. And I don't have it in here right now, but my pot that I have, a Snow Peak pot, this fits perfectly inside of it, so it just nests inside of that. And I have in this guy, it's a Snow Peak 600 titanium cup in a little koozie, poop shovel, eating shovel, pack towel, which I'll take out of this little ridiculous pouch, and then a MSR micro rocket stove, and it's got a little piezo lighter on it too. Works good with the bigger canister because it's a little more stable. And I like this cup because if I'm just boiling water for coffee or something in the morning, I don't need to use the big pot. I can just use the small guy, boil right inside of it. Or if I'm hydrating something like oatmeal or any of my smaller meals, I can just use this guy instead of the bigger pot, which works great. And conveniently, all my other stuff's inside of it, so that's handy. And that's it for the pantry side. And in the pack, it's got these two little straps that can either go straight or crisscross or however. Drawstring top. Inside, I have a protein tub. Great for keeping your food together. I can shove this thing full of calorie dense food, nothing like chips or lightweight stuff. But if I pack this thing to the gills, I can get 5 to 7 days, depending on what I stuff in here, of food, and keeps away the bugs, rodents, ants, marmots, whatever. Actually not marmots because I use a bear canister, but for everywhere else this is great. And then if you need to, you can dump all your food out and scoop water, boil a little bit of water, put it in there so you have some nice warm water if it's cold to shower off. Another thing too, I just recently tried this, is to put the water in here with some warm water and use this as a washing tub. So you can wash your stuff in here pretty good. Just fill it up, either shake it or agitate it, and it works pretty good. So multiple uses. It's a little heavier than a than a bag for your food, but I really like how many things I can do with it. Big sponge for washing off. Also, it fits in my little chamois, which doubles as a towel if I need it. And take the sponge, if it's dry, shove it in here, and I got myself a pillow. So that's pretty nice. My tent, which I may change because it's kind of, I want to say heavy, but it weighs about almost 3 pounds. It's a Nemo Meta. It's a 2-person tent. So for me, by myself, it's a palace, and I can bring all my crap inside with me if it's crap and rain. So that's pretty handy. I like having that. But you know, I can either cowboy camp and not use it, or hammock, depending on the weather. Little Marmot rain jacket. It's not super compact, but it works pretty well. And this is just an old mesh sack I stuck it in. My charger for my camera batteries. It's a little merino wool icebreaker beanie, which works great in conjunction with my hat. If it's cold and or raining or whatever, or just cold, that keeps me plenty warm. Neo Air, I think it's called the Trekker. It's not as light as the Neo Air super light one, but I like the fabric feel of it, and it's a little bit thicker and a little bit more burly, so it's not as prone to leaks or holes as the other one. So got that guy. This is a Marmot down vest. I think it's an 800 fill or 850 fill Zeus, I think it's called, but it's really, packs really small. My arms get really hot, so I have a hard time wearing a full down jacket. So I found the vest with the rain jacket and a long sleeve shirt, and I'm good down to 30 degrees easy with it. 40 degree top quilt. This is a hammock gear quilt also. Works great. I love this thing. I took this in Yosemite, the same kit in Yosemite in March on like the 12th through the 15th, and snowshoed, and I was pretty much at the limit of a 40 degree quilt because it was like 27 overnight. So with all this, I was good. Plus I had a Patagonia Capilene top and bottom set underneath all of this, and in the hammock, and I was good. Speaking of Capilene, this is the top and another fleece beanie I use when I sleep, so I can keep my head out of the quilt and stay nice and warm. And this is a little first aid slash patch kit. Got some Cuban fiber patches, sail tape, which I found at West Marine, and it works way better than duct tape or most other patch tapes for any gear, packs, bags. The quilt, there's a couple patches on this quilt already, and then a Thermarest patch kit also in there. Do have some tenacious tape, which I've never used in like 4 years. Regular first aid stuff, some popsicle sticks for broken trekking poles, and then the tape, whatnot, sterilized needles, antiseptic wipes, Motrin, and Aleve. And I have an EpiPen, but I think it's about to expire, so I might need to get a new one. I don't particularly need it, but just from my background, I kind of always bring it because I've actually had to use one. And that's it. There's an extra sack in that. But that's it in my pack. And then trekking poles, I got these guys. It's a Lecky carbon fiber daily whackers. I used them in Yosemite this last trip, and they work great. So you just click them together, and there you go. You can It goes from 110 to 130 centimeters in length, so it's pretty nice. It's fairly rigid. On one of them I have a little adapter dealy whacker that I can screw the mount in there and then put the camera on it, so I can actually use this as a monopod too. That's pretty handy without bringing a bunch of extra crap. And so if this is my pile, and then when it gets to the Sierras, I'll keep most of this stuff. Mainly I'm tenting in the low country, the South California, because there's not incredibly a lot of places to hang. I can cowboy camp, but this may be an insecurity thing with the tent. So when I get to Kennedy Meadows or somewhere around there, getting rid of the tent, getting rid of the air pad, and keeping everything else. I'll swap this quilt for, got a 20-degree under quilt for the hammock and a 20-degree top quilt. I'll get rid of this little grand trunk guy and use my war bonnet, Blackbird. It has the mesh netting and also has a solid top to it. Give you a couple extra degrees depending on the weather conditions, whether it's a high snow year. It's just easier to hammock. You're up off the snow, up off the ground. You don't have to worry about having your campsite nice and level, and I just really like hammocking. You get a great night's sleep. Other things, not a whole lot. My hands sometimes get really cold when it gets down to the 20s, so I have these little yard work gloves. They got a neoprene coating on it. They actually keep my hands really warm. And then with these guys, I have these Marmot, slightly insulated, but they're shells. So I can wear these guys in the shells. And these don't weigh much. They're a little bulky, but they don't weigh much. Capilene bottoms to go with the tops for sleeping. A little Marmot neck gaiter I got on sale, which doesn't weigh much, and it's actually really nice to keep your core warm. And I'll swap this rain jacket out for this dude. This is my ski, snowboard, everything I got on a clearance sale up in Whistler. It's an Arc'teryx Gore-Tex. It's a bomber jacket. I love this thing. I was thinking about taking it the whole way, but I don't really need it. It's more of a all winter coat. So that would be the winter load, and then swapping this can out for this can. And they all pretty much go in the same place and take about the same amount of room. Actually, the winter Sierras I'll be a little bit lighter because the tent by itself is heavier than the this crap, the hammock, and the extra quilt. So although it's a little bit bulkier, it's all down, so it smashes down pretty good. Anyways, if you got any questions, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And if you got any pointers, let me know. Oh, shoes, Cascadias. I'm just wearing them to break them in. I got 4 pairs of them, so I'm gonna wear each pair for about a week just to break them in and get them comfortable. So that way when I get them shipped to me, they're not like breaking in a brand new pair of shoes. So they'll at least be slightly worn in. I do have this pair of Gramici, or no, this is Arc'teryx pants. I snow sealed them, at least the bottom halves from the knees down. So if it's got a lot of snow and I'm trudging through, won't be too cold or too wet. They might come with me too. That all depends. So I'm going to leave this open and in bags ready to box to ship to me when I need it. Other than that, I'm ready to go. Ready to go now, but I gotta wait till next year. Yeah. Thanks. I'll put up some other videos when I get closer and tailor this load to exactly what I'm going to carry. But for now, I've got it pretty close to where I want it. Thanks.